An entire village accepting Islam. Inspiring, isn't it? Now, being part of that is possible. By donating to this IERA project, it will help many people accept Islam in Africa and equip them to practice it. Link in the description. Assalamu alaikum guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. From the creators who brought you bombing refugee camps is okay and legal to us.
Dozens killed in airstrikes on refugee camps. And do you think that that is proportionate in order to kill Hamas terrorists?
Our response is definitely proportionate and definitely in accordance with international law.
We bring you, we're not targeting the hospital, we're targeting the bad folks that are within it.
So you don't target the hospital, but you do fire at the hospital because Hamas are underneath?
We fire at Hamas. We don't fire at the hospital, we fire at Hamas.
This is the same logic as saying, I'm not blowing up the pen, I'm blowing up the ink inside the pen. Or, I'm not blowing up the library, I'm only blowing up the books inside the library. And trust Israel in defending attacking hospitals on a credible news channel, and everyone's just carrying on as normal, going about their day as if nothing has happened. And then if that's not all, as the conversation progresses, he repeats it.
So you're firing underneath the hospital, but not actually at the hospital?
We're firing at Hamas targets. We're not firing at the hospital. We are trying to safeguard the people inside the hospital.
Where are the Hamas targets? They're underneath the hospital?
Yeah, if they're underneath the hospital, if they're around the hospital, if they're in tunnels.
Underneath the hospital.
And you know, once you've got that solid argument, especially politicians, no matter what they asked, they just constantly regurgitate and repeat the same thing until the interviewer gets tired and runs out of time and has to move on. So this guy actually believes that this is a good argument for him to constantly repeat, as if the public will hear this and go, you know what, that's fair enough. And you know what makes this guy even more deluded? The fact that he went on his Twitter page and said, you know what, check this interview of mine out. Does he seriously believe that we're going to accept that they have these superhuman weapons that can fire at hospitals and then weave? You know that movie in which she shoots the gun and the bullet curves? Oh, I think, you know what, they're probably using Israeli technology where the bullets are able to go around corners, mate. Go up and down like a yo-yo. Even attacking those at the bottom of the hospitals without affecting the structure of the hospital, without affecting the hundreds of patients that have been traumatized, that have been scarred, that have been wounded. It's gonna affect none of them because we got the special, mate. There's special weapons that no one, even the guy in your dreams, even he doesn't have, mate. You know, this nonsense of blaming Hamas for everything. Oh, Hamas is underneath that toilet, gotta blow it up, mate. Whether it's a school, whether it's a hospital, whether it's a mosque, mate, blow them all up. You know what, I got a question. If Hamas was hiding in Israel under a populated synagogue, mate, would Israel, in their wildest dreams, even consider bombing it?
The brother asked a very good question.
Of course not.
Hope they answer the question.
Because they value Israeli lives. What's the difference here? They naturally don't value Palestinian lives. So the BBC, in this little clip, they had enough of this nonsense, frankly.
Because it's a convenient response, isn't it? That every time there is an Israeli strike on some sort of facility inside Gaza, you just tell us that Hamas is operating there and that's why you're fighting back.
That's what I'm talking about!
And guys, we have reached the end of the circle. Yeah, it started off with bombing hospitals. We don't do that, mate. We've got the most humane army on the planet, mate.
צה"ל הוא הצבא המוסרי ביותר בעולם.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
From there, it went to, you know what? The hospital was bombed, but it was Hamas that bombed the hospital. But wasn't Hamas hiding inside the hospital? Yeah, they were. They were in two places at once, mate. They fired the bomb, killed their own guys. Long live Israel, mate. So the worrying thing is that this cartoon character used to be the former Israeli ambassador. And even now, the guy is a senior advisor to the Israeli Prime Minister, senior advisor. If this is your senior advisor, God help you, mate. And bottom line, guys, before I leave you, this is an example of collective punishment, where you're saying a few terrorists out there, blow up the whole thing, mate. And this is what's referred to as a war crime, an international war crime. They just want to sell it to you in a different wrapper. You know what? We're not buying, yeah? The world has awoken to the reality of Israel, even the Israelis as well. Let's leave it there, guys. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.